Hey guys, so I had mentioned yesterday in my video that I would come back. Well, it wasn't yesterday. It was yesterday as I'm filming this, but there will have been other videos in between. Um, Anyways, when I was filming my video yesterday, I had mentioned that I would come back and explain to you guys kind of the new information I found out about my job. So I had told you guys, and I've told you guys numerous times now, that I am working as an ECSE, which is Early Childhood Special Education paraprofessional. Now, in our classroom, I recently found out just yesterday that our ECSE students are only going to be with us from like 8 a.m. until 11:30-ish, and then they will go home. So they will have breakfast with us, we will do our little lesson, and get some recess time and other activities in, get a snack, and then they will get a sack lunch to go home with them. And after our ECSE students leave, we have our lunch breaks, and then we turn into resource paraprofessionals, and our teacher is a resource teacher. So what that means is, for resource, you go into another classroom and you either assist the student in the classroom, or you can pull the student out if they need extra assistance. Like in our classroom, we have books for them to read if they need help with learning how to read. We have different activities that they can do in our classroom if they need extra assistance with like learning normal behaviors and things like that. Or like I said, we can go into their classroom and help them within their general education classroom. So there is a particular student that my teacher plans on having me work with, not right away, because she kind of wants me to be able to observe. According to what she was telling me yesterday, she kind of wants me to be able to observe how the others work with her. But this particular student is very, very advanced to a level where she just kind of needs assistance with certain things, but not with everything. And the teacher that I'm working with basically wants this particular student to become more independent. And so she wants me to work with her because I have experience working with people who have challenges like that, where they might need assistance with some things, but you really want them to become more independent. So you need to know when to pull back from them and let them try to do things on their own without the extra assistance, so they don't become reliant on you for assistance with everything. And the other paraprofessional that is in our ECSE classroom, who will also be resource in the afternoon, is someone that doesn't necessarily know when it's appropriate to kind of pull back, if that makes sense. And she doesn't have as much experience with these particular types of students. Now, she did work with this specific student last school year, but the teacher thought that it would be perfect just because, you know, I have a lot of experience dealing with that from my work at the group home and from working with other people who have developmental delays and things like that. So that is kind of the plan for the resource part of things. We have other students that she plans on having me work with, and if there's a particular day where that student like might have gotten one of us upset, we can switch out and have the other paraprofessional go and work with that student. Or if we just kind of need a break and we want to switch things up a little bit, we can kind of tag team different students, because we are working with a group of students, not together necessarily, but there's like 7 or 8 students throughout the elementary building that we can go into their classroom and either pull them back to our classroom or work with them in their classrooms, if that makes sense. So I didn't really have any idea until yesterday that I would be doing resource too. I didn't know if we would have like a morning ECSE and an afternoon ECSE class, but there's only 5 students in our ECSE class this year, so that's why they just kind of made everybody morning and we will be resource people in the afternoon. So I am a little bit nervous about that aspect of things, just because it's something that I've never done before, as far as like going into their classroom and working with them there. And I think it's important that I also build a good relationship with their teachers as well. And sometimes that can be hard to do because some teachers don't really understand like special needs students, or they don't understand like how best to work with special needs students, if that makes sense. From my understanding, the students that we work with as far as resource, some of them will be going to recess with our ECSE class, just because like certain activities that they do during recess are better with the ECSE class than they may be with students their own age, or they may just need a break and they'll go to recess with us and then recess with their class also, just to kind of break up their day, because some of them may have issues like sitting in the class for that whole entire period or the whole day with no recess breaks or no breaks in general, which some of them, that's our whole reason for working with them, is they need a break. They need to have time away from the classroom activities so that they can stay focused throughout the school day. So it's going to be interesting. It's definitely something that I am not familiar doing. I do have experience working with like daycare and preschool age students, and so that is kind of helpful because our ECSE is technically preschool, but it's a little bit more structured. It's not just play. We do have specific things that we need to focus on with them, and preschool is structured, but you don't necessarily have the in-depth things that we need to focus on. Like some of our students, we work with them on potty training. We work with them on like verbal skills, because some of our students may be on the autism spectrum and may be non-speaking. For those of you who don't know, a lot of autistic people do not prefer to be called nonverbal because they do communicate verbally. It's just maybe not in a way that everyone may be able to understand, so they prefer non-speaking. And I'm sorry if you are someone who has a disability that disagrees with what I just said, but I have been told by numerous autistic people or people that are on the autism spectrum that they do not prefer to be called nonverbal. They prefer to be called non-speaking. So that's just a little side note, but I will definitely keep you guys posted on like how things are going. I'm really nervous about Monday because that will be my first day with like all of our students, and I don't really know like what the plans are for like as far as resource goes for the first little bit until the teacher comes back, because I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just kind of trying to make the best of things. And as far as like resource pushing into classrooms and doing inclusion type activities, I don't really know what it is that I'm supposed to be doing. And so that I think is going to make the first little bit of school a little bit difficult, because I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm hoping that the other para will let me like shadow her to observe or something, because like I said, I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing. And so I don't want to just go into a classroom and start out the whole relationship with the inclusion students who are in gen ed classrooms that need resource time with us. I don't want to ruin the relationship from the beginning by not understanding what it is that I am there to help them with, if that makes sense. So anyways, if you guys have any questions about my job, what it entails, if you want to know more information about a particular aspect or like my daily routine, I will make a video talking more about that, or I can if you guys are interested in, you know, more information about working in special education. I'm excited to get started, but like I said, I'm also nervous, and I'm just hoping that I do well, because this is something new for me and I've never really done it before. So yeah, anyways, I will talk to you guys next time.